Cole Dance's last gasp was a scream muffled by the cold. The world around him was nothing but frozen darkness, the stench of congealed death, and the burning memory of betrayal. He remembered the face of Miranda Thorne, his crush of years, leading a horde of starving neighbors into his home. Eyes that once feigned sweetness, now gleaming with naked greed. They took everything, every can, every grain, every blanket. They left him there, on his own kitchen floor, to die like an abandoned dog, the cold outside finally conquering the last warmth in his body. Before the darkness claimed him, a violet vow burned in his throat, hotter than any fire. If I find you in hell, Miranda, you'll pay. They'll all pay. Then death came, but not the end. A violet flash exploded behind his eyelids. It wasn't the tunnel of light the religious talked about, but a raw violet burst, as if the very fabric of the universe had been torn apart. Cole expected eternal blindness, but instead, he felt the weight of his own body on a bed. The cheap sheet, the musty smell of the tiny apartment, the distant sound of cars. He opened his eyes slowly and looked up at the stained ceiling. Clear vision, no frostbite pain. He grabbed the phone on his nightstand, his hands trembling not from cold, but from disbelief. The screen showed the date, September 12, 2050, 3 months before the cryonic convergence, 3 months before the sky collapsed into ice, 3 months before the planet became a white tomb where 90% of humanity would perish. Cole lay motionless for a long minute, his heart hammering against his ribs. It wasn't a dream, it was a second chance. This time, he wouldn't be the fool. In his place, something else was being born, something cold, something dangerous. As he pondered how to start his survival and revenge plan, the violet light danced before his eyes again. Instinctively, he focused on a glass on the table and thought about storing it. The glass simply vanished. His mind touched an infinite emptiness, a latent space where the object rested, suspended in nothingness. With another thought, the glass returned to the table, a dimensional inventory. Cole let out a low, humorless laugh. The universe, after all, gave him a tool. He wouldn't just be a survivor, he would be a walking fortress. The initial idea was simple: fill that space with an entire supernarch, food for years, water, medicine, weapons. But first, he had 3 months to spend every cent, hoard every resource, and build an apocalypse-proof sanctuary. The first action, however, was a whim. One last extravagance before the end of the world. He put on his best jacket and went to the most expensive restaurant in Verdentia, the Obsidian. The 12-course tasting menu cost 50,000 aurum, an amount that would have once made him sweat. But now, it was just a number on a bill that would never be collected. In 3 months, the entire financial system would collapse along with civilization. He savored every bite with an almost meditative calm. Lobster and rare herb sauce, braised lamb, dessert with gold leaf. The waiter looked at him with barely disguised contempt, but Cole didn't care. He was celebrating the funeral of the world. As he left the restaurant, chance, or fate, put Miranda Thorne in his path. She was with her usual friend Sarah Lynn, both wrapped in designer coats they'd probably gotten from some other sucker. Miranda's eyes widened when she saw him coming out of the Obsidian. "Cole, you here?" The syrupy voice dripped like spoiled honey. "I didn't know you could afford a place like this." Sarah nudged her friend, smiling maliciously. "He must have gotten rich all of a sudden. He was always so devoted to you, Miranda. I bet he'd do anything to please you." In his past life, Cole would have stammered, justified himself, offered to buy them dinner too. He would have been the pathetic gentleman who believed in love. Now, he just stared at Miranda with a coldness that made her step back. "You want to go shopping?" he asked, waving his credit card between his fingers. "I'm heading to the supermarket and I need someone to carry the bags." The two exchanged knowing glances, the gleam of opportunity overriding any pride. They accepted immediately, thinking they'd gain something in the process. Inside the Stellarix Emporium, Cole led them through cramped aisles, piling carts with rice, canned goods, pasta, textured protein, bottled water, imported chocolates. The girls carried and complained, but he ignored them, feigning a friendly smile. "Why so much food?" Miranda questioned, her hands aching. "You feeding an army? You never know when an apocalypse might happen," Cole replied casually. "It's good to be prepared." Sarah scoffed, finding him ridiculous, but kept carrying, hoping for a reward. When they finally reached the checkout, Cole made as if to pay, and instead of thanking them, said, "Thanks for the help, girls. You can go now. It was a pleasure using US pack mules." The fury on their faces was almost as satisfying as the meal. Miranda still tried to argue. "You owe us a fancy dinner like yours. We did you a huge favor." Cole shrugged, already walking away. "I'm looking forward to that day. When I want to treat you real nice, I'll make sure to. Until then, survive." They were left behind cursing. On the way, a new interference. His aunt Lorna Greer, the manager of Spiral 7 building, appeared with her 5-year-old grandson, a spoiled brat who immediately grabbed Cole's cart. "You can't eat all that by yourself, boy," Lorna exclaimed with authority. "Give some to your aunt. Junior is hungry." The kid tried to steal the cart, but Cole pulled it back, firm. "Sorry, Aunt Lorna. I'll eat it all by myself. Every crumb." The kid threw a tantrum and started cursing at Cole with words a child shouldn't know. Cole leaned down, his gaze as icy as the future that was coming. "Keep that up and I'll knock your teeth out, for real." The kid burst into tears. Lorna exploded. "What kind of adult argues with a child? This is ridiculous. At least sell me a chocolate bar. I'll pay you later." Cole showed his phone's QR code. "No, pay now or go buy it at the store. Cash in hand, Aunt Lorna." She sputtered, furious. He walked away, leaving her enraged. Upon reaching his apartment on the 10th floor, Cole locked the door and, with a flick of his mind, transferred all the purchases into the hollow void, the name he'd given the dimensional space. The items floated in that emptiness, perfectly preserved. He would test later whether time affected the food. Now the priority was something else, turning that rented shoebox into an impregnable fortress. In the following days, Cole's routine became a preparation marathon. First, he went to the Central Orem Bank and mortgaged the apartment. The manager, a guy with glasses and a yellow smile, warned about the abusive interest rates. Cole rubbed his hands together, eager. "Doesn't matter. Put the highest rate you've got. I want $9 million in cash, and in 3 months I'll pay 30. If I don't pay, I lose the house and the car, right? Perfect." The manager must have thought he was insane, but the money was released. Next, he went to Fortis Security, the best armoring company in the city. The consultant, a man in a crisp suit, presented standard residential projects. Cole rejected them all. "I want the walls reinforced with aerolite alloy, the same used in military aircraft. The balcony and windows with multi-layer ballistic glass, CBRN air filtration system, 360-degree blind spot-free monitoring, and the front door, I want the same material as the central bank vaults, thicker." The consultant took notes, visibly surprised. "That'll cost around $8 million, sir. And furthermore, I also need weapons. I know you have contacts. Get me some pistols, a precision carbine, whatever you can." "Weapons, sir? That's complicated." "Complicated is freezing to death because someone kicked your door in. Figure it out. I'll pay double commission." The man swallowed hard and agreed to arrange everything except the firearms, which were to be negotiated separately. With $8 million transferred as a deposit, the work would begin the next day. Cole still needed something for immediate defense. He sought out the owner of a hunting club and acquired 3 high-powered crossbows with carbon steel-tipped bolts. They weren't firearms, but in the silence of winter, they'd do enough damage. When he got back home, he found the street blocked by several trucks. It was the 500 complete meals he'd ordered from the Aurea Hotel, the finest in the city. Neighbors crowded at their windows commenting on the waste. Cole smiled, unloaded everything, and as soon as the delivery drivers left, transferred every tray into the hollow void. Food for years no one would ever imagine. The next morning, the Fortis workers arrived with heavy equipment. The noise of jackhammers and welding echoed through the building, attracting scornful looks from residents. One of them, a fat man in a dirty t-shirt, yelled from the stairs, "Hey, nut job, did you take the wrong pills today? Why so much steel in a house? You expecting World War III?" Cole didn't even dignify him with an answer. Let them laugh. When the ice came, they'd find out who was the joke. While the construction advanced, he visited the manager of the Stellarix Emporium, where he worked as a stock supervisor, and made an offer impossible to refuse. He'd buy the entire stock of medications and medical equipment for twice the market price, with total priority. The manager, seeing the profit margin, agreed. Cole paid cash and transported everything home in discreet trips. His activities didn't go unnoticed. Miranda sent messages, her voice falsely concerned. "Cole, I saw you buying a lot of stuff. Is something going on? I've been thinking about you lately. I miss you." He read it and deleted it. In his past life, he would have melted. Now he just ignored it. Miranda was furious at the cold shoulder. Sarah laughed at Miranda. He used to be a pushover. Now he he thinks he's all that. Forget it. If it was something big, the government would warn us. We just need to soften Cole up again, and then we take advantage. Meanwhile, the construction finished. The apartment was now a gleaming fortress. Internal aerolite walls, tinted windows that reflected the sky, sensors in every inch, and a 15-centimeter thick special alloy door with electromagnetic locks. Cole tested the surveillance system on his tablet. He could see every floor, every hallway, the outside. Satisfied, he paid the remainder to Fortis. Water was still missing. He ordered several tanker trucks of drinking water. One of the drivers was his uncle, Troy Vance, his late father's brother. Troy was one of the few who'd been kind in his past life, without ulterior motives. While they unloaded the drums, Troy approached, brow furrowed. "Nephew, what's all this water for? You building a swimming pool?" Cole looked around, made sure no one was listening, and whispered, "Uncle, this winter is going to be brutal. Really brutal. You should stock up on food and firewood. A lot. Don't wait any longer." Troy hesitated, his face closing in skepticism, but the seriousness in his nephew's eyes made him swallow the joke. "Are you serious, boy?" "More serious than I've ever been in my life." The old man nodded slowly, not understanding, but decided to follow the advice. In the following weeks, Cole emptied his bank account. He bought generators, industrial heaters, thermal blankets, tools, fuel, batteries. He trained with a crossbow daily, his muscles acquiring memory for the trigger. With only 3 days left until the cryonic convergence, the weather was already showing signs. The sky dawned leaden gray. The temperature dropped sharply at night. At work, Cole, as supervisor, prepared a special tea for all the shift co-workers, a soporific herb that would make them sleep for hours. After everyone passed out, he turned off the warehouse cameras. This was the moment. He walked through the aisles of the gigantic Stellarix depot, touching each shelf of the palm of his hand. Food, medicine, cold weather gear, fuel, even the smaller cargo vehicles. Everything vanished in the blink of an eye, sucked into the hollow void. One crate caught his attention. It contained the new cryogenic resistant suits the company had purchased for northern expeditions. They could withstand down to minus 100 degrees. A find. He stored everything. In the end, the warehouse was completely empty. Not a speck of dust remained. Cole drank his own soporific tea and lay down among his colleagues. Hours later, he was awakened by one of the employees in a panic. "Supervisor, we're screwed. The warehouse was robbed. They took everything." Cole feigned surprise and shock, a performance worthy of an award. The manager arrived enraged, accusing him of conspiracy, but there was no evidence. The cameras showed nothing. How do you explain the instantaneous disappearance of tons of supplies? The police were called. Everyone gave statements. Cole genuinely broke into a cold sweat, but inside he was laughing. The detective, after hours of fruitless interrogation, released them, but warned, "Nobody leaves the city. You're all suspects." "I won't even leave my house," Cole promised, smiling enigmatically. The robbery made the news. The population of Verdantia wondered how such a colossal heist had occurred in under 3 hours. But the next day, December 10th, the first blizzard arrived. Huge, icy flakes fell from the sky, blanketing the city in minutes. Cole, from the window of his fortress apartment, watched the white spectacle with a glass of wine in hand. "This time, the story will be different," he murmured. 3 days later, the cryonic convergence reached its peak. The shock wave from a distant stellar explosion, amplified by a cosmic alignment, swept through Earth's atmosphere. In a single night, the temperature plummeted 80 degrees. The world fell silent under a shroud of ice. Power grids collapsed, water pipes froze solid. In the streets, the first frozen corpses appeared before dawn. In the Spiral 7 building chat group, the panic was absolute. Residents asked about heaters, food, how long this would last. Cole read every line while warming his feet by his oil heater, wrapped in a thermal blanket, the generator humming softly. His home was an oasis of comfort. Aunt Lorna, as building manager, took the lead. "Calm down, everyone. The bad weather will last 2 to 3 days at most. The neighborhood committee will help. Hoarding excess food is prohibited. Anyone caught will be reported to the authorities." But someone questioned, "How can you be sure? If the blizzard doesn't let up, will you take responsibility?" Lorna deflected, and to divert attention, pointed at Cole. "That nephew of mine, Cole, bought 3 truckloads of food. He's the thief." "One should share. Don't cause trouble, boy." Cole responded calmly in the chat. "Auntie, I'm sorry, but I've already eaten it all. I'm starving here. If you're going to collect supplies to distribute, please send me some instant noodles." The old woman nearly had a heart heart attack. The farce was exposed. In the days that followed, the snow didn't stop. It piled up a meter at the entrance. Then 2, the electricity was cut. Cole's generator kicked in, but the other apartments became refrigerated chambers. Lorna, desperate, tried a new scheme. She sent a message to everyone saying that by order of the committee, all supplies must be turned over to her for equal redistribution. Those who disobeyed would be arrested. Cole knew she was repeating the same scam from his past life, when she'd stolen everyone's food and let the neighbors die. This time, however, he had proof. He recorded an audio and sent it to the group. "I just got a private message from Aunt Lorna asking me for food. She says it's a committee order, but she didn't show any document. Watch out, folks. That old lady's a liar." Chaos erupted. Several residents demanded that Lorna show the supposed document. She stammered, furious, but couldn't prove a thing. Cole completely demoralized her. Enraged, she called him personally, screaming, threatening to report him. He responded with icy calm. "Auntie, if you keep bothering me, I swear I'll kill you. Now hang up and go take care of your grandson." She obeyed, trembling. The situation deteriorated rapidly. A brute from the building, Victor Drain, a violent contractor who thought he owned the place, read Cole's messages and decided to act. The following night, accompanied by a gang of starving henchmen, he went to Cole's door. "You cocky little punk," Victor shouted, kicking the door. "I'm gonna bust this piece of crap open and take all your food." Cole, from inside, grabbed his crossbow and calmly aimed through the door viewer. The peephole was an armored slit, but allowed a precise line of fire. When Victor stepped back for momentum, a carbon steel bolt shot through the gap and embedded itself in his shin. The howl of pain echoed through the icy hallways. Victor fell to the floor, clutching his leg. As blood flowed and froze almost instantly, his henchmen recoiled, terrified. Cole opened a small armored panel and spoke over the intercom. "Who's next? The door is steel. The walls too. Go ahead and try. But know this, anyone who comes close gets a bolt. The next one goes in the eye." Victor, bellowing in pain, was dragged back to his apartment. The wound would fester without treatment, but in that chaos, there was no doctor. Cole knew the bully would die a slow, painful death. He felt no pity. It was just the beginning of his revenge against everyone who had wronged him. Meanwhile, Lorna, desperate without food, tried to pull her scam on the more gullible neighbors. Some, out of fear or naivety, handed over their provisions. She amassed a reasonable stash, but her grandson, Junior, got sick. The boy was shaking with fever in the biting cold. Lorna, in tears, begged in the residence group for medicine, antibiotics, anything. Dr. Alina Voss, a physician who lived in the building and was known for her kindness, went to the manager's apartment to examine the boy. The diagnosis: severe infection, required surgery and IV medication. Without it, death was certain. Lorna offered money, jewelry, whatever. The neighbors, once robbed, remained silent. No one took pity. Cole watched through the cameras, his heart divided. In his past life, Dr. Alina had sacrificed her own food to save a mother and baby, dying of starvation afterwards. A good person. Rare. He held no grudge against her, but Lorna could pay for her greed. The doctor, exhausted and starving, ended up sending a message to Cole. "I know you have supplies. I'm not asking for charity. I can negotiate my medical knowledge in exchange for food and medicine." Cole pondered. In a post-apocalyptic world, a doctor was worth more than gold, but he couldn't trust blindly. He replied, "I accept, but you'll have to prove your loyalty. I want you to be my eyes and ears among the residents. Keep me informed of all plans against me. If you agree, come to my door tomorrow." Elena accepted. The next day, Cole let her in, but first subjected her to a thorough search, confiscating any sharp or strange objects. She was trembling from cold and hunger, her thin clothes inadequate. He gave her a bowl of hot soup and thermal clothing. The woman ate, crying, "Thank you. I swear I won't betray you. Words are empty. Your actions will dictate your fate here. Now listen, Victor Drain is plotting something with his henchmen. I want every step of there." Elena, between spoonfuls, told him that Victor's men were planning a new attack, this time with a firearm they had obtained. Cole smiled. He was already expecting it. 2 days later, Victor, limping and furious, led a group of men armed with iron bars, machetes, and a rusty revolver. They hammered on Cole's door with everything they had. He, inside, had prepared. He activated the high-voltage shock system built into the entrance's metal structure. When the first ones touched the door, an electric crack threw them back. body smoking. The others recoiled in horror. "Keep going," Victor roared, brandishing the gun. "Break that damn door down or I'll kill you first." The henchman, coerced, returned to pounding, using a wooden beam as a battering ram. The door didn't budge. Cole, bored, turned on an internal sound system and started playing upbeat music through the speaker. "That's it, get motivated. Once you're tired, I'll offer you some water." They gave up after 20 minutes, exhausted and frozen. The door remained intact. Victor, unhinged, fired the revolver at the lock, but the bullet ricocheted. He then realized the structure was composed of aerolite, the same metal used in tank armor. "Impossible. He has a fortress," one shouted. "The wall. Try the wall," another suggested. Armed with sledgehammers, they began tearing down the plaster beside the door. They soon hit steel. They tried other spots: the floor, the ceiling, the apartment above. Everything was coated in the same alloy. Cole had turned that cubbyhole into a giant safe. Finally, they realized the only vulnerable part was the balcony glass. They gathered on the neighbor's balcony and tried to smash the ballistic glass with sledgehammers. Nothing. That's when Cole decided to help them warm up. He threw a Molotov cocktail through a strategic opening. The fire exploded on the balcony, igniting two henchmen who jumped to certain death in the snow. The others fled in panic. Victor, burned and defeated, retreated to his lair, even more weakened. That night, Cole posted an ad in the residents group. "Whoever brings me Victor's head gets food for a week." Chaos erupted among the starving. The next morning, Victor's body was found in the hallway, brutally murdered by a group of neighbors who once feared him. The head, however, nobody had the stomach to cut off. They just killed him and filmed it. Cole, true to his word, distributed some cans of food to the killers, who devoured them on the spot. It was then that Elena, as agreed, asked for permanent shelter. Cole took her in, but not before making her undress completely to prove she wasn't hiding anything. She obeyed, blushing, and he allowed her a hot shower. When she came out of the bathroom, clean and warm, something shifted in Cole's gaze. It wasn't love, but the realization that having a competent and beautiful ally was strategically valuable. He proposed that she become his companion, with all that implied: protection, food, and loyalty. She accepted. To seal the trust, Cole revealed his secret. Before Elena's wide eyes, he made a loaf of bread appear from the hollow void. "All the food you've seen, the supplies, are stored in a private dimension. Only I have access. If you betray me, you starve. If you're loyal, you'll never go without." Elena understood perfectly. That night, she slept on a heated mattress for the first time in weeks. In the days that followed, the dynamic of the apartment shifted. Elena took over the household chores and also the role of spy. She went to Lorna's apartment, where the old woman was still agonizing with her sick grandson, but could do nothing. The child passed away shortly after, and the old building manager went mad with grief, blaming Cole and all the neighbors. No one cared. Meanwhile, Cole decided he needed to expand his influence. The building still had provisions, but the residents were becoming dangerous. He called a meeting in the group and, with the help of Uncle Troy, proposed the formation of a defense militia, led by himself. He offered food in exchange for obedience. The starving accepted. In no time, Cole Vance went from pariah to absolute ruler of the Spiral 7 building. However, the external threats soon came knocking. That same week, survivors from the neighboring building, Block 26, dug a tunnel through the snow and invaded the lobby. They were brutal and came armed. Cole faced them with his crossbow and the few bullets he'd managed to smuggle. The battle was quick and bloody, but the fortress prevailed. He allowed the invaders to flee, but one, the leader, was taken down with a precision shot. The word spread. Block 26 was under new command, and now it was targeting Cole. He knew the war was just beginning. He gathered his new subjects and announced, "From now on, no one enters or leaves without my permission. We'll fortify the stairwells. You will obey me, and in return, you'll have food. Anyone who refuses can go to Block 26 and see how long they survive." No one refused. At night, in the warmth of the apartment, Elena snuggled up beside Cole. Outside, the snow fell relentlessly, burying the world in layers of deadly silence. He looked at the woman he'd won and at the tablet that monitored every corner of the building. His revenge against Miranda and her accomplices was not yet complete, but he had time. All the time in the world, as long as his stockpile held. For the first time since he'd returned, Cole Vance finally smiled for real. A thin, cold smile. The second life was a chessboard, and he had finally stopped being a pawn.